Hello, welcome. Come on in. Well, here we are then. We're out on the cut. We're enjoying life again. And I'm speaking to you from a little place called Middlewich at the moment. Although by the time you get to see this, I'll have gone. But it's wonderful to see you all again and to enjoy this wonderful cruising weather that we've been having over the past week. In this week's vlog, I've done something a little bit different. I've merged a few scenes together so that we can have a talk about the actual Chester Basin and the Dee Locks. Which is quite interesting, and it's also quite sad. Had the Dee Locks been in existence and workable, it would have been possible to have gone down those locks onto the River Dee and had a little play around on that river. And for those of you that know, the River Dee is quite a exciting river, has its origins I believe in Wales, and it plays around with the borders between England and Wales on its course. So shall we get on, see what I got up to? Oh, there's one thing. I caught a nasty little incident on the cameras. It's okay, everything went well, everything got sorted out, but I've put that in as well, and I'll explain what happened. Come on then. So as we re-enter Chester Basin after our trip to Ellesmere Port, you will see on our starboard side there Taylor's Boatyard. Now Taylor's Boatyard has been in existence since 1795 and is a Grade 2 listed structure. It is fully working and has various services which the boater will find extremely useful. And a great welcome will await you there should you need any of them. Once again, you are now seeing the original hire boats that were the first to be used on the canals, I believe 1930, but I'm not sure on that, but I'm sure someone out there will know and be able to confirm that date for me. In front of us we have two sets of locks. The ones to our right, our starboard side, are the ones that take you down onto the River Dee. The ones immediately in front of you take you into the Taylor's Boatyard dry dock, which is big enough to accommodate two full-size narrowboats. And here we have an aerial shot of Taylor's Boatyard. The bridge which you can see spanning the canal is the actually named Tom Rolt Centennial Bridge. You also get a great aerial shot here of the River Dee and the locks. There are, as you can see, a few boats moored up there, which I believe are permanent moorings. And here is a view back through the dry dock looking out. And here the lock which will descend you down onto the River Dee and it is in this lock that you need to reverse should you want to accommodate a pump out. Of course, a lock gate would not be a lock gate if there wasn't any water. And here we can see the water overflow feeding down into that pound below. Sadly, due to the condition of the lock gates, this is actually the limit of navigation, which is a shame really. All the lock gates and the locks are in existence, as we will see. Of course, you cannot go far on the canal network without spying the heron. Herons are long-legged and long-necked freshwater birds, and there are some 64 recognised species of them, although some of these are referred to as egrets or bitterns rather than herons. A couple of interesting facts about the heron are that their neck is longer in the day than at night. Their legs are long and strong, and in almost every species are unfeathered. And in flight the legs and feet are held backwards. Interestingly enough, the feet of herons have long thin toes. 3 forward pointing ones and 1 pointing backwards. As we go back to the lock gates, you can see here the rather dilapidated state that they are in. It's such a shame, this. But the family of ducks which we are now watching seem to enjoy the pound here, and the reeds which are in the grasses that are growing in it. Just below the lock gates we can see another one of King Charles's towers, from which he surveyed the failed battle of Rowton Heath that we talked about a few weeks ago in my vlog then. You can walk along the canal down to the River Dee, and as you do so you pass some really lovely countryside and some rather lovely apartments or flats. Here is a lift bridge which sadly cannot be used because, as you will shortly see, there is a problem, despite the maintenance on the locks not being done. However, the Inland Waterways Association is campaigning to have this stretch reinstated. So if you'd like to know more, how about inquiring and perhaps joining the Inland Waterways Association? And here again you can see the locks looking back down to that lift bridge which we came from, and the lock gates obviously open to maintain a flow of water. Sadly, this lock has completely collapsed. It has a wooden base to it, and this would need fully restoring to enable us to enter and exit onto the River Dee, which flows from the Snowdonia mountains and exits into the sea around the Wirral Peninsula somewhere. It is 113 kilometres long and which is approximately 70.21 miles. So here we are back in the basin again, and there's Morning Star. We are preparing now to leave and return back up through the Northgate locks, but you do get a very good view of the student accommodation. The ones that you're looking at are in fact 14-day moorings for anyone that might be interested in staying over, and I found these to be quite safe and welcoming. And of course there is a boat that most of you who will know that follows Steve and Chris on Life on Board Amy Jo. And again, more student accommodation behind. And now to the exit of the lower basin. As you can see, we are now leaving and heading back out under the railway bridge to the first lock. And it is here that my camera's caught a rather distressing incident. Well, it could have been distressing. It was certainly quite frightening at the time. But before that, let's let Amy Jo just glide by as she does with Steve at the helm. For the purposes of illustrating, I have slowed down the footage of this. What basically happened here was that the water from the bottom lock was released into the pound. This had a tendency to draw the boats towards it, and as you can see, Amy Jo is listing quite badly to the starboard side, and this was down to a rope snagging on a bollard. It just shows how careful you have to be with boats around locks. But thankfully all went well, and we were soon back up through those locks and exiting. So it's back out under the bridge of size, with the city walls on our starboard side, And as we come into Cow Lane in Chester, now there is probably a boat many of you will also recognise. It is, of course, the lovely boat known as Chuggabug. Hey, there we go then. Well, I hope you enjoyed that little vlog, and that actually concludes my vlogs on Chester, well, at least for the time being. It's on to pastures new, but where will those pastures take me? That is the question. I want to just say a big huge thank you to everybody who's been sending me such lovely comments, and especially to all those who were concerned about the live feed going down during the course of the week. Unfortunately, there are broadband black spots on the canal network. There's nothing I can do about those. If the live feed goes down, I will do my utmost to get it back up and running for you as quickly as I possibly can. As you can see, it's all back up and running again today, but I will be going down another little canal journey in the next few days, and I may, or probably more than likely, lose the signal on occasions, but I'll try and get it done as quick as possible and get it back up and running. Huge thank you to everybody who has subscribed to my channels. Thank you very much. To everybody who joined my Facebook family and participates in comments and such like, thank you very much too. So just to remind you all that a Tuesday evening at 7 PM is this month's edition of A Forgo Narrowboat Inn. Yeah, all the mad crew will be there, Alan, Gary, Steve and myself. And this week's guest is Dave on board Isness. Now, if you've not already seen Dave's vlogs, they are different to the majority of every other vlog that you will find on YouTube about narrowboating. He's a very interesting guy, and I'm looking forward to seeing not only him but Paulo C, who does all the music for him. And who knows, we might even be able to get a strum or two out of the gentleman. So that's 7 PM on Tuesday. So until then, I wish you all the well. Have yourselves the most fantastic week. May the sun shine on you. And until we meet again next Sunday, ta-ra.